Hey guys, it's me. So I'm going to be testing everything out. I didn't think I'd be taking a trade tonight, but there is a setup going on right now on copper. And I'm just hoping to see if price is going to respect this. So right now it's 11:59. If this thing can close above, this is going to be good, and it means that I can be able to take a bullish CRT trade on copper. So I'm just waiting for it to just close up. So let me see here. This is going to be a test. I'm going to try to see if I can catch a trade tonight. So that way I can kind of have a little bit of break tomorrow. So what I'm basically doing is I'm waiting for this candle right here, the 12:55, to close above this box. So this box right here represents the 1 hour or the 11 a.m. accumulation range. So this is important because if you can close above and hold it, it's just one more minute, just hold that position. If it goes in here and taps it officially on the 1 hour time frame, it will look like a bullish CRT model, and it did hold. So that is all I need to see. So if you go over here on the 1 hour time frame and you take a look, you will see officially it did close inside of the range, and that's all I really needed to see. So whatever it comes to copper, it really does catch my interest sometimes because it tends to give me very high RR trades. Now with this setup right here, I'm not my hope is that when it fills this gap, it will propel it upwards because I've noticed that gold and what is it? Yeah, gold has been going up quite a lot, and I'm hoping that copper will catch up with that bullish momentum because I've been trying to hunt for a pretty good trade setup like all day, and now I feel like I have one here. So let's just see what happens. This is going to be very unique. I'm going to go and check on the stream, try to see what it looks like. Once it tags us in and I set my stop loss, then I'll go and start to see, what to do after this. So, wow, it's 12 o'clock Central Time. That is crazy. All right. 1 second. Okay. We'll let it do its thing. And I'm just going to my YouTube. I just want to be able to pull up the stream. Obviously, I just started just immediately because I'm just trying to capture all my trades, win, loss, regardless of whatever it is. I got to be able to see. Okay, it's about to hit. It's about to hit. So I'm projecting that when it fills, hopefully it'll hold without taking out this swing low on the 12 a.m. manipulation hour. And this is based on Eastern time. So this is 12 a.m. Eastern time. 12 a.m. Eastern time. Okay. Oh, shoot. 1 sec. One second. My hope is that when it fills this gap, it will propel it upwards because I've noticed that gold set my stop loss, then I'll go and start to see, what to do after this. So it's 12 o'clock Central Time. That is crazy. All right, 1 second. Okay, so we're back. I'm on my Express account, so you should be hearing me now. I'm sorry, guys, I never really got a chance to do my audio test, but because of this very important setup, I was like, F it, let me get in here real quick because this is a very important setup for me. So, right now, I'm projecting that hopefully when it goes and fills this 5 minute bullish fair value gap, it will fill, hold without taking out this swing low. If it does, then there's a good chance it will propel all the way up. A play like this, which is gonna most likely gonna cost me about 120 bucks, since I'm using 4 micro contracts on copper, is gonna yield a profit of around 590 bucks, which is good because it kind of puts us on track in terms of growing the account. Now, it will take a little bit of time and focus. So that's why with this specific trade, I'm really focused heavily on making sure that everything is clean and solid. I feel like the audio should be clear. I I know that it does take a little bit of time here. So let's take a look. We're going to go to filters. I'm going to try to see what we get working with. Everything is still the same settings as before. So I was hoping that it would be consistent, but things keep changing for some odd reason. But it doesn't really matter. I'm committed to this thing, and we are going to record every trade as much as possible. We'll go blah, 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 as much as possible. I'm going to be recording every single trade as much as I can, just because I know with my trading system, it doesn't always give me like so many opportunities in a day. But when I do see a clean opportunity like this, I have to be here, and I'm hoping that it will fill and hold. So basically, I'm like wired in just to see it fill and hopefully push up. So we'll see what happens. This is copper. It is for a 5R trade. So we'll take a look. We'll see what happens. And I'm going to be checking my phone. I'm going to be checking my phone just to see that the audio is clear. I have to listen to it. So give me just 1 minute and I will be right back. Okay. As much as possible. I'm going to be recording every single trade as much as I can. Everything is still the same settings as before. So I was hoping that it would be consistent, but things keep changing for some odd reason. But it doesn't really matter. I'm committed to this thing, and we are going to record every trade as much as possible. We'll go as much as possible. I'm going to be recording every single trade as much as I can, just because I know with my trading system, it doesn't always give me like so many opportunities in a day. But when I do see a clean opportunity like this, I have to be here, and I'm hoping that it will fill and hold. So basically, I'm like wired in just to see it fill and hopefully push up. So we'll see what happens. This is copper. It is for a 5R trade. So we'll take a look. We'll see what happens. And I'm going to be checking my phone. I'm going to be checking my phone just to see that the audio is clear. I have to listen to it. So give me just 1 minute and I will be right back. Okay, so I've moved my microphone up. Okay, so I've moved my microphone up a little bit more. I'm hoping that that is going to improve the audio. So my goal is for it not to keep going in and out, in and out. So I'm still eyeing my Topstep account. I'm trying to see if it will fill. So this is going to be a very tight entry. So I'm just mainly being focused as much as I can. I will not gonna be. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I am super sleepy, but typically I didn't think I was gonna take a trade today, but I did see this move, and whenever copper presents a pretty solid move, I'm here. Like for real. Copper is one of my strongest ones. So we'll see what happens. But I feel very confident that hopefully it will give us a nice bullish reaction when it fills this gap right over here. So this is just a matter of waiting, and I am a very patient man. I will wait for that setup. So give me just a minute. I'm going to take a look at a few things, but I feel that this is going to be good enough for us to be able to get this rolling. So here we go. Here we go. I'm going to put this on pause for real quick. Just want to watch the stream on my phone, see how it's doing, and then I'll be right back. Cool. Testing one, two, three. Testing one, two, three. This is a test. I'm hoping that the audio is a little bit more clear now. So I've increased the volume on the mic. I'm hoping that that is going to be better. I've noticed that whenever I increase the volume on the mic, it tends to improve the overall quality of the device. So that's my main focus right now. I'm going to sound settings and then up in the volume a little bit more. That that's where I messed up. Okay. I started to notice that that's where the mistake comes from. It's right here. Let me up that to about 71. Okay, so that should be better. I'm hoping. So let me guys know in the comment box below if it's better for you guys now. So right now I'm testing. Want to make sure it's clear. Okay. So right now you'll see that it has swept the the sell stops that were located during the 11 a.m. accumulation hour. With that sweep, it made something very important, which we like to call this the 5-minute bullish fair value gap. This is the most important part of this whole trade. It shows that there's a lot of bullish momentum that helped to push the trade back into the range. Now, the hope is that the price will come back once again, fill this, and then continue all the way to the top of the 11 a.m. accumulation hour. So, for that, we just have to wait it out and see what that will look like. So, that should be good. I'm going to put this microphone on mute. Got to attend to a few things, but I'll be right back. Okay. Okay, I'm back, guys. Cool. Let me see. I am a futures trader that uses the CRT model. Uses CRT model. That's it. So now it's basically a waiting game. So a lot of my focus right now is primarily on copper. So ideally, I'd like it to just fill this gap. If it fills the gap, pushes upwards. Okay. So right now, what I'm going to do is we're just going to have to wait it out, see what the market provides. This is a very good setup according to my trading strategy because if you take a look at the 1 hour time frame, you will see that this is the accumulation hour, which is the 11 p.m. Eastern time. This is the manipulation hour, and in this manipulation hour, an important thing is happening. It closed inside of the range. It is above the 50 EMA. It has the bullish sawdust, these little tiny dots. That basically shows that there's a lot of bullish momentum. So the hope is that with all of this bullish confluence, will help it to make it in a way where if it taps this fair value gap, it'll tap, hold, and push upwards. Now, because this is copper, I definitely want to take advantage of it. And in my case, I'm just going to just target the top just because I'm technically taking a hit at the moment. If you take a look, starting off at the week, we're down by $140.97. So because of this, I'm just going to focus on just getting the base hit. If I can get the base hit, that should be like a 500 plus trade on each of the accounts. So if we can do that, it would put us green on the week. And that's my main focus is I don't mind. Well, it's not that I enjoy having red days, but I really am focused on trying to close each week green as much as humanly possible. Because if I can close each week green, then it'll make it a lot easier to scale this account at a faster rate. So that's why this needs to be adjusted with some profit that needs to turn green. So yeah, and now I just gotta go and I just gotta be patient and just wait for the edge to come through. So this is pretty much it. I'm gonna take a look at the other tickers, see if there are any other opportunities, even on gold right now. So gold right now should be providing a sequence, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Because also right now I see another one on gold too, which is also very promising. So let's see what happens on gold. Because I've noticed that I tend to perform better when I'm trading the metals. Because when I even look at my stats, the metals tend to perform the best. I can still do well with NQ. I give NQ its props. It has given me some pretty clean setups. But oh, I was on the wrong one. Oops, so sorry guys. I was on the wrong one on that one. Sorry. My bad. I was on the 5 minute time frame. So let me adjust that. Now I gotta go to the actual 5 minute time frame. And now we see, okay, it is still doing its thing, which is fine. But in the meantime, still staying focused on this. That's 11 to 11:55, 11 o'clock. And then my manipulation hour, and hopefully this is the distribution hour. So again, with my trading strategy, it's about a 40 to 50% win rate. So that doesn't mean that it's going to be guaranteed that it will hit the target, but I will always take that trade every single time because I must follow my edge and I must follow the trading plan. So, yeah. So, in the meantime, while I wait for it to cook, let me just set up this. So, win, lose, draw after the trade, we'll need to record the results. So, that's kind of how it works. I record everything, I do my best, and if it hits, it hits. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I am committed to the trade. So if it were to hit, fill this fair value gap and start to hold, my job is to make sure I set my target right here, my stop loss right here, and I do not trail. Because if I start trailing, I start to, adjust the stop loss, it will kill my risk to reward. So we can't do that. We gotta fully accept the risk. So if I do take this hit, I'm anticipating that I might lose 100 and let me see here. Let's see buy. Oh, that one. I need to MHG. 1 second. Because it's about to hit, so I gotta pay attention right now. And yeah, I'm good on that end. So if I were to lose the trade, I would be risking about $115, but in return you get $595. So to me, that's a worth it trade. So we'll just put it here for the chat. So that's 115 risk for 4 micro contracts. Okay. And then micro contracts. Sorry about that. And then over here, we have possible gain of $595 for the 4 micro contracts. So this kind of gives you an idea of what we're trying to target for 4 micro contracts. Okay. If it lands over here, so this is going to be the green and this is going to be the red. So in about a few minutes, it's going to hit and then it's going to be activated. And then we'll see what the market decides. So at least the benefit of just it being 115 is it still gives me a good chunk of cash to risk. Now, my main thing is because my profit balance, which is here, is below 4,000, I can only risk up to $300 per day. So as you can see in the other one, I only took 1 trade. So I only risked just a little bit, which was $140. In this one, I can still risk 300 in total. But after this, if this does not, make it for whatever reason, then it means that, let's see, 300 minus the 115, it's like 185. But then you also have to minus like the micro fees. I think this one is like about a dollar and change. So you're looking at around $180 left to risk. So here we go. Shoot. That was fast. Okay, I'm officially tagged in. So we'll see what the market decides to do now. Okay, I'm going to kind of zoom in here so we can get a clear view of what's going on. So it has tagged it in. And let me reduce this part real quick. We have enough room to work with. Okay, so we have enough room to work with. Sorry, sometimes I kind of notice that my voice has been kind of going down. I need to keep it up So right now it has filled the gap, which is what we were looking for. Now the name of the game is to see, will it hold? If it holds, awesome. If not, we got to record it. If it does and it makes it to the target, we record it. So that's just part of doing the trade. So if it goes down all the way here, we'd lose $115. If it goes all the way up here, it would be $5.95. So it's all dependent on this candle. So here we go. And let's see what it does. All right, we're going to get stopped out, guys. Yep. All right. It's unfortunate we got stopped out again. That sucks. So, yeah. Yep. I really thought it would hold. I really thought it would hold today. But apparently, copper is not going to cooperate today, huh? All right. Well, we're going to have to record it and see what is going on. So, yeah, it's basically it formed it, it held it, but it now decided to drop. So, I'm just kind of trying to figure out why copper is dropping, considering that gold is going up. I'm trying to understand why. But yeah, it's going to be a loss again. And that kind of sucks because I really thought it would hold. Huh. Okay. All right. Well, we're going to have to regroup, try to see what we need to do next time. And I'm going to just check and see what it will take for it to hold. Because I really thought for sure it would have held that because it had a lot of positive confluences for a bounce. But unfortunately, in this case, it decided to just rip through. And that is another loss. So, not doing too well, not gonna lie. So, we took a hit of 109.96. And because we took a hit of 109.96, we are we have to try to see if we can recover $250. Hmm. Okay, let me see. Yeah, we're definitely gonna record this, no problem. I just want to be able to see why. Okay, if I over risked, I shouldn't have. Okay, so 496. Okay, so that did not work out. So what we'll do is we're just going to keep hunting and seeing if we do find another setup that would work out. But that was my ace. So I'm trying to see if I can catch another good one. Damn it. All right, I'm gonna scan and see if there are any other setups happening. If not, we're gonna just record this one, and we'll see if we catch anything. All right, so gold is starting to take a plunge, which is interesting, and it's taking a big plunge too, which is very interesting. So I'll keep an eye on gold, try to see if I can catch a good trade setup with gold today. Um, at the moment, yeah, that hit kind of sucked a lot. And I'm just trying to see if the euphoria for gold has now depleted, but we'll see because gold has been running hard over the past few days. So I'm going to keep an eye on gold. I'm not giving up on gold. I still feel that gold has the sauce it needs to keep going higher. I just have to be patient and wait for an entry. So, gotta keep an eye on gold. Gonna put our focus on gold, and then I will need to also make sure I talk about this trade right here. My entry was here, but unfortunately, it just ripped through it, which was unfortunate. I thought it would hold that 50 EMA. It bounced, and that was like the whole play, but it decided to go in, bounce, and then drop, which sucks. But that's part of trading this edge. So the most important thing is I kept my risk low, and all I really got to do is just find one solid hit, and we'll see what happens next. So, yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, that kind of sucked, man. I'm not going to lie. I was so hopeful that it would hold, but the market has decided to do a 360 on me. Go figure. Okay, I'm going to take a look at other tickers. Let's see how they're doing, how they're performing. Oh, look at the yen. Yen is just flying up there. Look at it. Yen is doing awesome. So let's try to look at 6E. 6E is also starting to pop up, starting to go up as well. So that's interesting. That's unique. So right now I'm just looking and trying to see if there's any opportunity because it seems that NQ is definitely bearish. It seems like gold also wants to go bearish too. So I'm just trying to decipher how to handle this because copper is going down, silver is going down. Yeah, silver is definitely going down. So I'm just trying to see if it's intending to go down, then I may have to look for a different asset to trade today because it's going to take a long time for it to go underneath this 50 EMA for me to start considering shorting. But I don't know if this is just a liquidity grab, but the only way I'll be able to tell is the next hour that will form. If the next hour that forms has a sword dot at the top, then I'm going to have to say it's most likely going to continue that downward trend. But it could be a situation where it's simply, how do I say it? Doing a liquidity grab just to take out all this liquidity to just push it up even higher. Or it could generally be an actual push downward now that everyone wants to take their money and run. So this is the part where I'm trying to figure out what to do here. Based on what I'm seeing, it looks like it wants to go bearish. So if it wants to go bearish, we have to be very cautious about trying to take a bullish position at the moment. So I'm just going to keep looking at the charts, try to see what will be the next best logical play to work with. And yeah, I just have to be patient and wait for an entry. So whenever I see the hourly candle get real close to that bullish sword dot, it means that the next candle over will most likely flip bearish. So that's why I'm really kind of eyeing to see what's going to happen. So this is a very unique situation because right now, theoretically, it could be flipping bearish because of how close these sword dots are here. So this sword dot is important. It almost acts like a gauge of bullish momentum. However, whenever the hourly candle comes close, it means that the next candle or the next hour over can flip. And if it flips, it can continue that downward trend. That's kind of what happened to my trade because it was still bullish. If you take a look at it, bullish, bullish, bullish until this decided to flip down and form that bearish dot. Where is that dot? That dot right there. So you have to be careful whenever you try to trade it because it could flip. But that's the crazy thing about gold. Gold can perform some crazy maneuvers, so I have to be extra cautious of what's going on. Man, gold I think is playing games with us because it's already now pushing all the way up. So I'm really curious to see how it's going to play this. Will it perform one of the biggest liquidity grabs that I've seen so far in a long, long time? Or is this genuinely going to go down? So this is a very, very, very unique trade because a part of me is saying that this is a basically a liquidity sweep to take out all these buy stops to push price even higher. But there's a really strong possibility that it can flip downward. So this is one of those cases where I have to see. I'll gauge it and try to understand if this is the real deal or it's just a fake out. So we'll see what happens. And I'll be right back, guys. Okay, so it seems that gold really just wants to go to the bottom. So it seems that gold just wants to go to the bottom of, or we're going to go below the 50% range or the 50 EMA. So since it wants to go below the 50 EMA, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to make sure that I adjust my entry to kind of fit what's going on right now. Because what's going on right now is a little bit different than I had anticipated. I thought the gold euphoria would keep going on, but at the moment, it's simply not. So we have to just pay attention, try to see how to navigate this. Because my gut says that this is just a fake out, but I cannot deny what I'm seeing. This thing looks like it's going to rip all the way down just because of the momentum. So if I were to take a look at the volume, you kind of see it's very strong. It's very bearish. So I can't just ignore that. But what I can simply say is the setup looks like it could be a fake out to just go up. It's risky. It's not exactly something I feel comfortable doing. So that's why I'm really trying to take my time to really analyze this one to make sure I'm making the right choice. But it'll all depend on what happens in the next hour. So let me take a look and see if there's anything that it shows that I could be able to take advantage of in terms of like the order flow. That's an area that I still working on just to understand like how to do it correctly. Oops. So let me check this out. Bam. Oh, okay. Okay. I'm doing this right? Ah, shoot. Because yeah, I should be able to see. Try to see what happened to my quotes and my indicators, my positions, my charts. Completely looks different. Let me go to Topstep X again. There it is. There's my layout. Okay, so we're going to take a look at MGC. Okay, so we over here, we're looking to see what kind of trade this is going to be because this is going to be a sweep. You see that? I don't like that. So it has already officially formed the bullish star dot on the top and the bullish star dot over here. So to try to still go long against this bullish star dot might not be the best move for me. I think that would be kind of on the unwise side. So I'm going to look to see if there are any other symbols I can trade that are a little bit easier to deal with. So I'm looking at NG, kind of to see if it can provide some good setup. I'm also going to have to take a look at CL, see if it'll provide another good setup as well. Because it's very bearish, I just need to find a setup where it'll allow me to make some gain on the bearish momentum. So that's basically it at the moment. I'm just looking. And then when I do find something, then I'll tell you guys. Okay? Cool. I'm looking to see if there's a way I can be able to take advantage of the continuation of this trade. But when it comes to gold, it's going to be a little bit trickier than I had anticipated. But I'll still see what I can do. Okay, I'm testing just to see what this will look like whenever I'm doing the trade. And I'm just trying to position my mic just to see what it might do. So, yeah, the past two trades have not been fun. I really thought that that copper trade would have gone through. But as you guys saw, we just sliced through it. And that happens sometimes, especially with this strategy. So it is part of the process. It just kind of sucks because I'm just trying to continue that winning streak that I have. Because as you can see, this account, I've just been trading that one edge and it's got me to this point, right? So I don't want to just go and start deviating just because of taking two hits in a row. What I got to do is I just got to focus. I just got to be patient and wait for another setup. The most important thing is I'm going to follow my game plan, stick to it, even when it's tough. And I'm just going to have to be patient. That's the best way to handle something like this. I am going to look for more favorable setups that are a little bit easier to trade in this kind of environment. But yeah, I'm not giving up on the strategy. I just got to keep focused on it, stay out on it, and believe the process. I'm just testing out a small short on crude oil just to see if I could be able to make something work out of this. Um, just more of just trying to see what it could be. Um, I noticed that if I'm going to be talking, I got to make sure the mic is placed the right way. I'm just trying to see if I can take a short on crude oil. The idea is a lot of bearish momentum, so I'm hoping that this is going to drive price downwards, but I'm not too familiar with this strategy. This is more of like trying to do a continuation model. So I am slightly deviating right now, which kind of sucks. If this doesn't work out, I may just have to call it a day on something like this, but I'm not sure. I'm just more like trying to see what I can do. And I will have to try to wait for another opportunity for the strategy to work. So mainly what's happening right now is my CRT method, which is what I use all the time. I don't know why I'm deviating, but I think it's just because I took 2 hits and I feel like, man, I really would like to catch a break. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I am deviating right now, which is not too cool because I don't want to be deviating. I want to try to move in the right direction. However, with something like this, I will admit it definitely is not easy because I haven't built any confidence in this strategy that I'm using right now because it's not my CRT method. It's more of a continuation method. So we'll see what happens. And again, I am risking 130 bucks on this setup. But again, anything can literally happen in this sequence. So I have to be played conservatively just because I'm not too familiar with how far I can push a trade like this. So, right now my main focus is just to see if we can kind of reduce some of the loss that we took on today. And if it allows us to push, that would be awesome. But at the end of the day, we really do not control the price on this. We just have to follow the trading plan. And the trading plan dictates that I push pretty hard. So the idea is this has a bearish drive to it. Now I'm basically using the SAR dots and it being underneath the 50 MA to kind of push price down to at least here. Now, ideally, I would want it to be here, but because it is a little bit of a riskier trade, it could just propel and go up. That is the risk that I'm taking on by doing this trade setup. So I have to be very cautious about what I'm doing because this is completely new. This is a completely new thing that I'm deviating for sure, which I don't like. So I'm just going to have to play conservatively. If I can be able to push to here, that would be awesome. But my target is going to be here. And then I'm going to have to raise my stop loss a little bit at a time. Because the problem with something like this, because I've not really tested it over a long period of time, I don't necessarily have full confidence in the setup. But I'm just going to do the best job that I can with what I got. The hope is that this will hold. Many people consider this more of I'd say like a piercing pattern at most. So I have to really be more strict about it. The problem is I don't like being in a case where I'm not too confident in the setup because I've never really done this enough times to build the confidence in the setup, which is a concern. So as of right now, we'll see what it does. If it does push to here, I think I may have to call it a day. And that will give me a chance to kind of regroup, rethink of how to trade the strategy a little bit better. But I just have to trust that the momentum will continue. The problem is it can kind of pull up, it can kind of do a lot of things in the sequence. That's the problem because technically it swept the bottom, right? It swept the bottom, but what we are anticipating is that even though it formed this bullish fair value gap, that it's going to eat through it. That's the hope, just because we are anticipating that the strong bearish momentum might cause it to keep going down. However, it can do whatever it wants because this is a completely different strategy that I'm using. So, yeah, we'll have to see what happens next. All right. This is interesting. So it seems like the euphoria that's happened yesterday, people are doing their sell off basically tonight. And because of that sell off, we have to just be aware that price price is most likely going to keep pushing down because a lot of people want to grab the profits. It's just kind of weird that they're doing it now instead of doing it during the New York session. They just want to do it now during the Asia session, which is fine, which is cool. What we'll have to do is we just have to just stay focused on the mission, keep trying our best, and what will have to happen is this is a 1 to 2 setup. So I'm going to have to do this. That is considered a 1R. That will be considered a 2R. So let me put in 1R. Next one will be a 2R. And we'll see if this will give us a strong drive downwards. So I have to kind of pay attention and see, because they can easily just go up, take out my stop, and keep propelling upwards. So that's the gamble with this strategy that I'm using at the moment. I'm betting that the continuation will continue. But again, with these stocks, they can just go up, take out your stop, and then go down. And unfortunately, in that case, I would take on another loss. So with me, it's just 3 strikes, you're out. This would probably be strike 2 if it does not do what I need it to do. So fingers crossed. If it works, awesome. That'll be great. If it doesn't, then I gotta skedaddle. Let's put it that way. I'm just gonna try to target a 1 to 2. and just call it a day, just in case. Yeah, the way it's going, it's most likely going to try to take out the stop again. So because of that, we there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee that it will hold. So in a situation like this, I'm just going to have to play my cards the best way I can. I don't want to freak out. I'd rather just stay focused and committed to just trading the edge. I feel like the reason why, even as I'm looking at this, I'm not feeling as confident in it is because I am kind of deviating from my trading plan. I'll be honest with you guys. I really am. It's just I think I allowed the frustration of taking two straight losses to kind of cause me to start to look at a different entry point to take advantage of the continuation. But we'll see. We'll see if I made the right choice. I just have to keep staying focused, keep moving forward, and just doing the best job that I can with the information that I got. So, yep. So, one thing I will say out of these two trades that I'm doing right now is the first one, I was willing to go. I had full commitment on it because I felt that it matched with my system, it matched with all the factors that I'm looking for. It just so happened that they did not respect the price. So that's just one of those unfortunate circumstances where I'm just going to have to accept it and move on. But I'm hoping that hopefully with this one that the continuation can go on for just one more set. That's the idea, that's the hope. But we'll see what happens because right now the market is in a bearish frenzy. It wants to just keep plummeting. And all I'm really trying to do is just to see if I can catch even one trade that can just simply go in this direction. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with this one. Yeah, it's been a while since I've taken a trade where I don't feel confident in the setup because I've just been trading my CRT model. I hate the fact that I deviated from trading my CRT model. It's just right now with what the market is doing. It's not giving me a crystal clear. Well, I'm not saying that. It just seems like the market is not respecting the CRT tonight, and I don't know why. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. It's just my emotions are flooding my mind right now because I do have to kind of consider, being positive on the week at least, even on it being the first day, trying to kind of pick up that momentum. But at the end of the day, what I'm going to do is I know I have 3 strikes and I'm out, regardless of if this is a winner or a loser. 3 strikes, I'm out because I cannot go and start to gamble all the hard work that I've put in. So we're going to just stick to the strategy. We're going to just do the best job that we can. And we're just going to see if it will hit the target. If it hits the target, awesome. It would mean, we close positive for the night. And I'll take it. And then I'll battle tomorrow, which would be Tuesday during the Asia session. So this is just me taking the CR, well, not the CRT, it's more of a continuation model downwards. Let's see, so 260 minus, hold on, 260 divided by 2 is 130. I would still be positive for the day. So, okay, let me see. Because if it does what I think it will probably do, hopefully, if it just pushes pretty hard, that will be cool. Because then I can really kind of maximize this continuation trade. However, I have to practice some sort of caution. So let's just say I wanted to push it to even a 3R. It being about 390. That would be cool, but there's no guarantees. So I have to kind of trade it wisely. So pretty much what I'm trying to do is this. If it hits right here at that 2R, I'm going to raise my stop loss to 1R. So even if it hits the 1R, I should close the day at a break even or basically $30. But if it does continue, it could open up a way where I can push this trade to maybe something pretty high, like a 600. Depends on the sequence. So this is something I'm just going to keep an eye on because my job is just to try to see if I can capitalize on just the momentum and see if I can make it work. Because the thing about it is I just know that there's a lot of bearish momentum. And because of that, there's a lot of bearish momentum. I'm just trying to kind of develop a system where I can like maximize the push as much as humanly possible. And for something like that, you just have to see what happens, man. We have to just see what happens. Because at the end of the day, we've got to try to push the account as much as we can. Now, in this setup, there's a good chance it could just push up. But if it can hit the 2R, if it can do this, then I'm going to be able to show you guys my secret trailing technique called the Sniper Gains 5-minute trail. But it has to hit this 2R target for me to be able to initiate it. So that's where it gets a little tricky. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully that the bearish momentum will win, but there are no guarantees. There are no guarantees with something like this. So we'll just have to wait and see if that bearish momentum will continue. If it does, then we might have a winner on our hands. But if it does not, then we'll just have to take the hit and trade one more time. So we'll see. This is where the rubber meets the road. I want to see if I can be willing to push it because I'm looking at the numbers and I feel like if I can push it, which would be awesome, then it can be really good in trying to kind of make up for a little bit of lost time. However, we have to practice caution here because if it doesn't hit, it would mean we'd take a full 130 loss. But if it does hit, then we could at least walk out with 130, which to me is okay because if I take a 130, that means I can close the day break even for maybe around 10 to 20 bucks. It sucks that that would be the case, but it's better than just blowing my entire account. So with that being said, I'm just going to keep taking a look at this. We are on crude oil. This is more of a continuation play. I would still consider this an emotional trade and not my standard CRT trade. However, I'm just trying anything right now to kind of catch up without tilting because like my main thing more than anything else is not to tilt. Like I don't want to tilt at all. So that's where I'm at. I'm really considering just maybe just closing it to a for just a simple 1 to 2. Take the 160 and and just bounce. I feel that that would be the easy thing. That would be the easy play. Not gonna lie that that is something I'm really thinking about, but at the same time, if it hits here and it goes over here, you still are going to walk out positive for the day. It would just be me walking at a break even. And so that way I can get a chance to recuperate from this sequence and move on. But the main thing is just to keep moving forward. Let's see. Yeah, because the numbers show it's better for me to take a chance. If anything happens, at least we're walking out with something. And I hate that though, but the hope is it'll keep moving. The reason why I'm having to trail it up is because I'm not too confident in this continuation trading strategy. I'm just kind of using it as a way to kind of help me out because I saw the way it went in. It tapped the fair value gap. And if you really think about this, this is kind of like a mini CRT pattern right here. It went in, closed underneath, and pushed it with a great amount of force. So that's why I took it. Obviously, you can't just take any little CRT model that comes up on the 5-minute. But because this is a bearish fair value gap and it respected it in that manner, forming a CRT pattern, which is what I typically like, then I was willing to at least take a little chance on it. Regardless of what happens, I just putting it to break even at 20 bucks. So whatever happens is whatever happens. But if I can time it in a way where as soon as it hits here, I raise my stop loss here, that would be perfect because that would really allow me to maximize this play. And that's kind of like my main focus. So hopefully price will keep going down without having to hunt for any liquidity over here. I'm looking through here. There isn't any 5-minute fair value gap to attack except up to here. So that's why I'm raising my stop loss to here. But we're hoping that that bearish continuation will kind of push price downwards. Because that's really the goal, is to try to see if we can get a 1 to 2. And if we can get a 1 to 2, then we can raise the stop loss and then keep moving down. So if it does open up an opportunity, then I'll be able to take that opportunity. But as of right now, I got to wait it out and just be patient. We've covered our downside. So in the worst case scenario, that $111.48 loss that we've taken so far would drop to about $100. It's not exactly the best, but it is going to make it a little bit more manageable as I'm going to be hunting for more setups. So with something like this, I just have to wait and just have to pay attention. So we're going to keep our stop loss right there just because I'm not too. This is probably my first live continuation model that I'm doing right now, especially on a funded account. So because of that, I am a little bit, concerned about pushing the trade, but I do understand it's very important to, whenever you get a good opportunity, you want to try to do your best to control risk and to just maximize the opportunity that you have. So that's what I'm doing right now. And I am going to go and see what we can do. Let's see what we can do with crude oil. Okay, it's about to hit that 1 to 2 R spot. So if as soon as it hits, we raise our stop loss to 1 to 1. And then if we raise our stop loss 1 to 1, then I'm going to show you guys how I use the Sniper Gains 5-minute trailer. So it's been a long time since I've used this trailer. But when you start to see how I do it, it's going to be pretty cool. I just needed to hit that 1 to 2 to initiate. And you'll see I'm drawing a little box here. You'll kind of understand why I have this drawn, because this is something I'm going to be using as I am navigating through here. So let it hit. Let's see if we can hit that 1 to 2. Let's see if we can hit that 1 to 2. Come on, buddy. Come on. Just hit that 1 to 2. Just a little bit. Maybe I should just close for at 210. Maybe that might be the wise move. So this is where I'm wrestling with my thoughts here. A part of me says I need to just close to the 1 to 2 and just walk away. But then there's the other part of me that says this is probably one of the best opportunities for me to use the Sniper Gains trailer. It's called the Sniper Gains 5-minute trail. So I'm trying to see how to handle this because I have not had a chance to use the trailer. I'm going to try to use it for now because I've calculated my risk. As soon as it hits here, I know I'm going to walk with 130. 130 is going to be more than enough to cover here. And if it does stop me out, like it goes to the 2R and just snaps back and pushes, then that would be fine. It would suck, but it would still close the day green. But we do need to make sure it at least hits this 1 to 2. This is like the most important part. If it doesn't hit the 1 to 2 and doesn't, push the trade any further, what I'm going to have to do is I'm just going to have to take the 20 and try to see, maybe I might catch another trade, another setup a little bit later. But ideally, I would like to, reduce the amount of trades that I'm taking in a day. So this is where I'm looking at my numbers just to see, where would I be positive in the week. So I'm looking at this. I know that in the week I'm at, you see how I'm at 250.93. Ideally, I want to make sure that I'm green on the week. That's kind of why you see me considering using the trailer, because if I use the trailer, I know I'm going to be walking out. But then if I can use the 260, I would be up by $30 on the week. But that's not enough. That's not going to exactly be enough to help me close the week positive. So ideally, I like to be 100 to $200 green as much as possible. So this is going to be a unique one. This is going to be a unique one. I just want to see where we'll be on this trade. My gut and intuition is telling me to push past this 2R trade. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have to trust my gut and push for that 2R or 2R plus trade. And then you'll kind of see what that will look like as soon as it hits that 2R. And the reason why I have to be pretty firm on that is because as soon as it hits the 2R, then I'm going to move my stop loss to 1R. So we wait it out, and at the worst of the worst, at least that $148 loss that we took. Let me see. If I go to my trades, 1 second. Go to trades. So I took a loss today of $105 and or technically $111.48. So that's that 105. 105 plus 496. Technically, it was 109.96. That's weird. I don't know why it's showing that because, all right. So we've taken a loss of 109.96. So if it hits that 1 or 2, we should be able to be green on the week, which is the main focus. But if I can extend that even further, that would be better, just so that way we can really maximize the play. So that's like my goal. And my goal is just to try to see if I can maximize this push. That's all I'm trying to do. So it will take a little bit of pushing. I am a person who likes to push a trade. So typically I try to go for a 3R. Let's say if I were to go for, let's say, a 3R, even something like that, or 390, it does really put me nicely above the week. But I do need to wait for this to get here. So we'll just see. We'll see what happens. At least I know that no matter what happens, I'm going to walk out with 20 bucks. And that's going to reduce the loss on the day to around, what is it, 109.96. 109.96 minus 20 bucks. And then, or actually minus, I think it's like minus, it's like 106. 106.96. Yeah, 106.96 minus, basically, let's just say with the $4, you'd probably be getting like 16 minus 16. You drop it to about $93.96, which is not bad. It's not bad at all. Um, that's on like the worst case scenario. But in the best case scenario, if it can just tap this, I'll raise my stop loss and then I can start what's called the 5 minute sniper gains trail. I just have to wait until it shows up and you'll kind of see what I mean. I just have to wait for it to show up. You'll kind of see what I mean. Okay, guys, it's about a hit. Now, with this trade, I would have to classify it as an emotional trade because honestly, it really is an emotional trade. I'm just trying to trade the push down just because the market has not been giving me any clean setups to kind of drive it down. It is the only thing that I'm not too happy about, but that's the situation that I'm dealing with. So I'm hoping that the push down or the candle downwards is going to be strong enough to really drive price lower and lower and lower and lower. And the idea of the sniper gains 5 minute trailer is it allows me to maximize that push as much as humanly possible. So I just have to wait until it hits. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Let's see if you can hit it. Because a 2R is good, but you know what's better than a 2R? A 4R or a 5R. And this sniper gains 5 minute trailer can get to those kind of levels, but it all depends on the momentum, the setup, everything. So we're right at near the goal. Now I just need that to just simply tap it. Then I will raise my stop loss to 130. Now it's very important that I raise it to that 130 mark because that's how I ensure that I can close the day positive, even if it bounces back. The hope is it'll push through and keep pushing. Any 5 minute fair value gap that forms outside of this 2R, I'm going to raise my stop loss to trail it. So the idea is whenever there's a huge amount of momentum, price does kind of push very hard and then starts to do a pullback to try to fill in some of those fair value gaps that are formed. The key thing is I'm trying to take advantage of the strong momentum right now in crude oil to keep the momentum going by just simply trailing on the 5 minute fair value gaps. Now, the reason why I don't trail in within inside the box is that if you trail inside, I've noticed over time that price is going to go in and fill those gaps that are like halfway. But it's it's like this is just trial and error. But I've noticed that if I go and I raise my stop loss to, let's say here, there's a fair value gap, there's a good chance that price can just go in, tap it, and then you wouldn't get your 2R. Remember the whole idea why you're doing this is to go above 2R because then you would have just stopped in here anyway. So it only makes sense to trail on a fair value gap that forms outside the 2R because the whole objective of this trailing system is to get higher than the 2R trade. So that way you don't necessarily have to have a fixed target to hit. You're able to flow with that momentum. So that's why I'm trying to do it like this. And right now, we are going to wait for it to do its thing. if it somehow is able to reach a 4R, sorry about that. If it's somehow able to reach a 4R trade, then I'm going to close at that spot, because a 4R trade isn't something for me to just like ignore, because a 4R trade, it doesn't just come in every time. Okay, now we raise our stop loss. So no matter what happens, we're going to walk out with 130, and we are going to go and try to see if we can push for a 4R trade. So this is where it gets tricky, because price can go all the way and just tap me out. If it does, it is what it is. But if it can hold and keep pushing that momentum, then we can be able to trail using the 5-minute trailer. Okay, so it's going to keep pushing. And the reason why I had to do the math is I knew that no matter what happens today, this is going to be the last trade for the day anyway. I'm not really going to pursue any other trades for today until the next Asia session. So the key is I'm hoping that there's going to be enough bearish momentum to push price past this 2R block towards the 3 to the 4R. And then I'm going to be using this box right here to help me to trail the 5-minute fair value gaps that can form whenever you have a lot of bullish or bearish momentum. Okay, so price is going. Okay, it's going. All right, come on. Okay, so whenever it goes kind of ballistic like that, I'm going to have to kind of raise it up a little bit. I hate that I have to do that, but I'm just kind of trying to see. But ideally, I'm basically supposed to kind of let it push. So if it does hit this 4R, which would be a 520, I would close. But I'm hoping that it would form a 5-minute fair value gap that I can trail with. It's just right now, it's not giving me anything. So we'll just keep our eyes posted. So regardless of what happens, we're still going to be positive on the day. And we are just going to have to kind of chip away at the loss with the next trades coming up this week. So we're going to just keep an eye on this, see if it will give us an opportunity. Let me go to zoom in. So this is an example of me having to manage a trade. My hope is that it will form a 5-minute fair value gap that is outside. So let's just say, for example, you see how this has a 5 minute fair value gap, but it's inside of that 2R. We wouldn't want to count this. We want to find another fair value gap that forms outside of the 2R. So we'll draw another box and see if we can be able to get any kind of momentum. Okay, so this is more of a waiting game. Ideally, if it hits the 4R, which would be $520 in profit, I will take that any day. But if it doesn't get to that spot, the worst of the worst, we'll still walk out with $170 and we're still going to close the day positive. So to me, that's a win because it's very hard for me to say no to $1,000 right now because it does go a long way. But we just have to practice the patience. So right now, we're between 2R and the 3R zone. What we're looking for is to see maybe if it has a 5 minute fair value gap. And we're just going to see what it does. It keeps pushing, price is pushing. So we'll let it do its thing. We'll let it keep pushing. I'm only going to do it until a 4R just because, again, a 4R trade is very hard to say no to right now just because that is a lot of money. And I want to be able to take advantage of that cash as much as possible. So we are at a 3R trade. I just need this to form a 5 minute fair value gap that forms outside, or to just go and grab or form some sort of 5 minute fair value gap. So I'm hoping that the next 5 minute fair value gap will probably start from here, but it hasn't formed yet. So let's see. Come on, buddy. Just form a 5 minute fair value gap. Come on. Come on. All right. Keep going. Keep going. To kind of play conservatively, I'm just going to have to raise my stop loss to 260. Just in case it does a power spike, you know. So even if it comes to the worst of the worst, I would still walk out with 260, which is the original one. This is not exactly the way I would like it to be done because I would need to be patient enough to do a 5 minute fair value gap. But I think I'll be honest with you guys, a part of me is trading a little bit on emotion. I'm still practicing good risk management because as you can see, the risk that I had initially was like around $130. So that $130 plus that loss of 109, 109.96 means that I'm not gambling my account. I'm practicing good risk management. It so happens that with this particular setup, I'm just trying to take advantage to see if I can push it to a 4R. If I can push it to a 4R, awesome. If not, if it comes to the worst of the worst, I still walk out with a 2R. But it's going to help to push. Because after a 4R, that gets kind of tough because I know being up by $520 is going to help me a lot to essentially recover the lost day and be double on the week. So that's important. That's why you kind of see me pushing the trade even more. Now, if it does hit that 4R trade, which would be amazing, it puts us in a spot where we are pretty good for the week. And that's like the goal here. So we're looking to see if it will form that 5-minute fair value gap that we're looking for. So for right now, I'm just going to keep it at the 2R. I hate that I have to do that, because that's kind of deviating from the plan. One of the things I will say, uh, with the way I've been performing with this trade, is my risk management has been rock solid, but I have been deviating from the game plan. So I personally am not happy about that. That really does bug me, but I'm just going to do the best job that I can with what I have, and we're just going to have to go with what I have. So that's why I chose to raise it up to the 260. So if anything happens, at least give it enough space. I'll still walk out with a 2R trade. It's not perfect, but if it can somehow push down just one more R, we can walk out with a 520, and I would be satisfied with that, because the reason why I'm having to be very aggressive with my trades is because if I take hits, I need to be able to make sure my winning trades are much bigger than my losing trades. So that's why you kind of see me being more aggressive with this trade in particular, and I'm paying a lot of attention on that specific 4R trade. So that's basically it. I need to drink some water because I've been talking for a long, long time. I'll be back. All right, guys, I'm back. So, as mentioned before, if it hits a 4R, we're good. I've raised my stop loss to 2R. So, either way, it's good. This is one of those situations where you just sit and let the market decide if it's going to give you a 2R or a 4R. I'd love to get a 4R, but if it gives me a 2R, I'm A-okay because I'll be able to close the day positive. So, that's like the most important thing. Then that will most likely conclude the stream. I feel like it might be a 2R, but I think I'll be okay with that. I didn't really get a chance to show you guys how to properly do this 5 minute trailer. Just because I'm trading a model that I'm not fully confident in because I haven't really done it as much, but it's the one that is working right now. If it could hit that 4R, that would be amazing. But we'll see. I at least want to give it a fighting chance because either way, a 2R or a 4R is still a good risk to reward regardless. So it's just better to always push for even that one extra R because it can make a huge difference in the long run. So that's why I'm willing to take that risk. And yeah, this is what we do. And also, it helps to kind of maintain my risk to reward. So basically, if you see this 4.21, I like having a 4R, or what I like making sure that my average win is around 3 to 4 times my losers because it helps me out whenever I take a hit on my trading win rate. That's why I'm really putting a lot more emphasis on it because if I do that, it can really help me out at the end of the day. So, the end of the day, we just want to be walking out positive on the day. So, we'll see what happens with the market. So, it's going to tag us out. So, yeah, the way it's going, it's going to probably tag us out for a 2R. But we wait until it tags us out. If it tags us out, we'll just mention, yep, we're going out for that 2R. So, we're going to just say exit will be here. I'm anticipating that it'll go tap and then we'll be out of the trade. But if it so happens to go to that 4R, that would be amazing because that means like we fully maximize that play. But if it goes to here, that's still okay. I just have to make sure I log it. So this is now a matter of the market deciding if it will give me a 2R gain or a 4R gain. 260 or 520. So that's why you see me kind of pushing to see if it will give me something like that. Now, I wish I got a chance to show you guys how the 5 minute trailer works, but in this case, I may not really get that chance just because of what it's doing. If it does push to the 4R, that would be an awesome save for the week. But if it hits a 2R, hey man, I'm not complaining. I just have to hopefully catch a good trade setup later on. Oh, I think we might have that 5-minute fair value gap after all. That's crazy. That's crazy. Come on. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. You're almost near that 4R trade. Let's see. I think it might hit the 4R. I think it might hit the 4R, guys. Let's see what it does. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. You'll probably notice I'm doing a pretty aggressive trail because whenever it starts to get close to 4R, it has a huge chance of spiking. So I'm just trying my best not to trail too hard, give it enough room. So let's see if it will take that extra leap. Either way, we're walking with 320 bucks. That's not bad. It's not bad at all. So 320, still walking out positive. Okay, so the hope is that the next candle that forms, that 325 will just hit here and we'll be out of the trade and walk out with the money, basically. So I know I put in I was pushing it for that 4R trade. I did it on purpose because I understood how important it is. So that's why you kind of see me aggressively trailing. So we're at 340 right now. Okay, the next candle is going to start. Go. So right now it's starting to form that 5-minute fair value gap. So you start to see how it's starting to form it. The key thing is if I wasn't so concerned about hitting this 4R, once this 5-minute candle closes, then I would raise my stop loss here. Now, we'll see what happens because this is 326.09. So we have to wait until 330 to see if this fair value gap holds. If it does, we raise our stop loss here. And then that's how we would be trailing it. But if it does so happen to hit 4R, I'm immediately going to walk out because that's $520 and that can go a long way in helping keep the account in good standing, keep it healthy, because that's very important for me to consider whenever I'm doing these kind of trades. So as it's going closer and closer to closer, we're just going to push it just a little bit more. Because remember, the whole idea of this is we're just trying to maximize this downward push as much as humanly possible. And, catching a 4R would be awesome. Be a great way for you guys to get to see the trading that I'm doing. But I will be honest with you, this is unique. Oops, you see how it's doing that one thing? So I got to really be alert on that. The thing is, the market, I wish today was respecting my CRT trades because that is what even got me here in the first place. Believe it or not, this is my first time trading this kind of continuation model on a funded account. I've only really done it just looking through demos, and because of that, that's why you kind of see me being more hesitant in the beginning. But luckily, now I was able to use my 5-minute sniper gains trail to kind of trail price. Now this thing could even go more and more and more, but because it's a 4R trade, I am willing to just, close it here if it hits that 4R. If it doesn't, we're still going to be closing at a, let's see here, 28 at about a 3R, which is still really, really good. Okay, we're at 390, so we're pretty close. Let's go. That's how we do it, guys. That's how we turned a bad day into a winning day. Swag, swag. That's how we do it. So let's take a look at the stats. So we walked out of what would have been a horrible day and we turned it around. So now we're positive $266.03 for the week. So that's huge. We are so close to hitting our marker. And also on here, we're doing pretty well as well. That's the benefit of copy trading. So because of that, I'm going to go here. we're going to set a lockout. Bam. And that's it for the day. So I've locked myself out. The only time I can get to trade again is, tonight or today at 6 p.m. Eastern time. So that's it. That wraps up the stream. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a lot from my trading. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you on the next stream. Peace.